Hey guys, welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. Today we are talking athlete games, and I'm here with Gabi Osterholtz, two-time winner of the Burn Athlete Games.
And I'm here with Leslie Eddy, first-time Master Division winner.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking, like I said, athlete games. Talk about our history with the games and what that's looked like for us over the years, some of the struggles, some of the wins, and what our training has looked like, mindset, discipline, all that good stuff.
That's right, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So Gabs, what are the athlete games?
So athlete games, it's a competition that all burn trainers across the nation can participate in. There's regionals, which usually are in August.
Yep.
And there's 10 different regions typically. And then the trainers will compete at each of their regions, and then the top 16 in each division, so men's and women's standard, and then men's and women's masters, top 16 in each division will then move on to finals, which are usually in October, and that's usually a 2-day event here in Lake Norman.
That's right.
So,
yeah, and so you competed 4 times, right? 4 years.
Yes, 4 times.
4 years, and I have 3 years.
3 years.
Under our belt. So maybe let's go through some of our history.
Yeah, sure.
So your first year was
2019.
2019. Yeah,
that's right.
I remember. Okay, so that was your first year as a burn athlete, not a burn athlete, but as a trainer, burn trainer.
Right.
And I just joined the team as well.
That's right.
And so our FP, Lindsay, told us about the games.
Yep. And I kind of blindly got myself into it.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, I'm
really know
game
what it was.
to sign up.
Sure.
I had just joined the team as a trainer, so I missed the cutoff. I could not participate yet.
Right.
But
I
you
did.
were excited. And tell them a little bit about your history, like as an athlete.
So, I grew up competitively swimming for 17 years, and I swam throughout college. So competition was always a big thing for me. I always loved it.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, I'll join. I didn't really know what it consisted of, but I was, like she said, I was game for it. So
yeah.
That's right.
So, first year, how did you even train for it?
I didn't know how to train for it. I didn't really.
Well, that's what it is. It's like
I know.
your first year is like total trial and error,
Right,
because you
that's
don't know
true.
what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Right.
But what were the events? We had the SAC,
We had the SAC, like
strength and
we always
conditioning
do.
test.
That's right. And then we
Tradition.
had an event called the 300, and then we had 300 double unders.
Okay.
And at that point, I had just learned how to do double unders 2 weeks before.
That's right.
And I was out of the country for 2 weeks before, so I was
That's right.
not
Didn't
ready
you
for
sign
this.
up in July?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
did.
the regionals are typically in August. So
That's right.
you signed
so-
up.
That's right.
And how did it
signed
go?
up. It did not go. It didn't go as well as I'd like it to. But I mean, for the SAC, the SAC, tripped my doubles. I did not have a good mindset going into the second event. Did the second event. I feel like I did pretty well for it. And then my third event, the 300 double unders, I mean, you can expect if I didn't have double unders, it probably did not go well. It did not go well. So then I did not make it to finals, which I was super bummed about. So then coming into the next year, I was like, all right, I need to make it to finals. That was my goal. And I was going to make myself learn how to do double unders.
Yeah. And you kind of tasted what it was like after doing it the first year. You were like, that was really fun. I loved it. And I think you didn't even realize how badly you wanted to move on to that next round.
Yeah.
Until
I found out that I didn't make it.
That's okay. So year 2.
That's right.
Then we did it together. I signed up with you.
Yes, this was COVID year.
That's right.
We signed up together. We had all the time in the world to train because everything was shut down.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We, although because it was 2020, we were not as conditioned.
No, definitely not.
Probably like everybody else, we were trying to train from home, and that was pretty tough.
It was very tough.
You know, the workouts feel a little different at home.
We started doing a lot more strength training in our conditioning.
Right.
Down.
So we got stronger.
Yeah, we did.
But as far as conditioning,
we had to work on that. Yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was April when the
workouts came out.
And that was, again, we had to do the SAC again, but it was the 400, and that had a lot of conditioning involved.
A lot of conditioning.
And we realized we needed to get to it. So we trained a lot as a team. We had our other trainer on the team at the time, Robin Dinkle, was training with us. And then we teamed up with South Park, did a lot of training with them too. And so we would, once the gym had opened up, some of us all trained together. And
we'd have a lot of
that was awesome. So what were some of our training sessions like? Do you remember?
I mean, we would
We do a lot of partner
We do a
workouts.
lot of partner workouts. We would kind of switch the formats we would take the exercises that were in the actual workouts and then kind of like switch the formats up.
Yep.
Kind of did our own little thing.
Yeah.
Which was helpful.
That was really helpful.
It was, it got us back in the conditioning shape that we needed
That's right. And we were bound and determined to get our doubles to be better that year.
You already had yours. I didn't.
I felt good about my doubles that year. Yeah, I was like, all right, this is going to be it. So then the competition comes, okay? August 2020. Yep. You're like, all right, this is my year. I'm going to finals. I feel good about it. Yep. I'm like, all right, we've all trained hard.
That's right.
So regionals comes.
We feel pretty good with the SAC.
SAC goes well.
400. We both feel good about it.
400 goes well.
The doubles.
You did great.
My year went a lot better than the previous year, than 300. So that felt good.
Yeah. And then, man, for me, the third event they were the 400 doubles, which was my best event.
Yeah. Going into it,
practicing. And I completely lost focus. I mean, I tripped up on those doubles.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I just panicked. I don't know why, but that rope was going faster than my feet were jumping. I could not get into a cadence. I completely panicked, and I wish I would have just focused, taken a deep breath, and gone again. But I ended up with my worst time that I'd ever practiced, and I knew in that moment, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
And so I was super bummed because I knew I probably wasn't going on to finals. And lo and behold, I did not make it through to finals, but you did. So we're really excited for you, and Robin did as well. So our Elizabeth team all made it through except for me. So that was super disappointing. However, it was like, added a little fire underneath my feet for my next year.
That's right.
That I was going to make it through. So
that's right.
Every year we were kind of learning a little bit more about how to train.
Yeah. Incorporating more strength or different types of conditioning.
Yep. And we would set goals for ourselves. I just think it takes a couple years to get under your belt, like as far as how does this all work?
How do you do more each and every year? Because the first year I didn't know anything.
Yeah. And it helps so much to train together.
Yeah.
I remember being so grateful that I got the opportunity to train with you and with Robin, because you guys pushed me. I mean, you had this like mental resilience when you go for a goal, and I was like, all right, that's what I need. And so I was thankful that your strengths helped my weaknesses. So I was bound and determined year 3 to come back. But 2020, you went on to finals.
That's right. I went on to finals, and I ended up, going into it, I came in, I think, second going into finals. And then
you did.
This girl that I've never heard of, her name is Kelsey Benson, which, by the way, she's awesome.
We love Kelsey Benson.
We love Kelsey.
But we were like, who is this girl?
That's right.
So we were excited to kind of see. We're like, all right, Gabs, let's go. And how did finals weekend go for you?
Finals went well. Kelsey beat me in everything. But I tried. I mean, she was great competition for sure. That was the year. So she obviously got first, and then I came in second. And then after that, I was like, all right, next year I want to get first.
Yeah.
So then that's coming into 2021.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think she showed us her endurance was incredible. She had an engine on her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And we were all, I think all of us were really inspired by her that year. So she was just somebody that inspired all of our nation. I think all the athletes were like, okay.
Yeah.
And it dug you to like dig deeper for the next year. So then
that's 2021.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next year.
Your second year and my third year.
Yeah. So this year, now you're like, okay,
I want to win.
I came in second. Now I really want to go first.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to make this top 16 with you. Yeah. So I was bound and determined we got to make this happen.
Yep.
That year, it was a tough year.
So that was a tough year. Yeah, for sure. Personally, was very tough.
But I think you just had a hard year in general.
And then
I was feeling some of that.
Me through it. So
walked with you through some of the struggle. But I think that we were trying to use that to drive us to
for more motivation.
Go after our goals that year. So 2021, I think we worked so hard. We trained so hard. We were like, all right, we got to get our endurance up.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing you learned from the year before.
That's right. And also the workouts kind of took a turn in a way.
They became
more strength focused. Metcon strength focused. Yeah. Trying to move weight fast.
Quickly. Yes.
Yeah.
So we really,
previous years were a little bit more conditioning.
Yeah. I feel like. So we focused that year on a lot of Metcon workouts.
A lot of Metcon
right?
workouts.
So we
would do it every
worked on our
day.
endurance.
Whatever. I mean, we'd learn to like still take camp every day, but then whatever, if camp was strength, we would do Metcon on our own. If camp was some type of conditioning, we would then do strength on our own.
Yeah. But we had a mental block actually doing the event. So we were really working on conditioning ourselves better. But when the workouts came out, I think we had such intense pressure on ourselves. Like, I was like, I really want to make this top 16. Your goal is like, I want to win this whole thing. That when it came time to do the actual workouts, just to practice.
Yeah. I mean, this is nobody at the gym. It was just us two.
And I'd be like, all right, you do the first event. I'm going to watch you.
Yeah.
And you would start.
And then I would
And you would just stop. You'd be like, I can't do it.
And then
I was
you
like,
would
all right, it's okay. It's just, And
then you would do the same thing.
And I would do the exact same thing. And we could not.
But this happened for like a good
at first we were just like, oh, it's just the day.
Yeah. But it
kept happening. We were like, this is a problem. We actually need to complete the event. And so, I mean, what part of it I think we got to tell people is like, take the pressure off. And if this is your first time competing, just do the workouts with no expectations. Like, you're just feeling it out. Go through the motions. I know usually that's not what we tell people to do in a workout, but literally just feel it out. Like, how does this particular exercise feel to you? Like, show yourself that you can just do it, because you can, but sometimes we all get so worked up that we're like, I can't do it.
Yeah, right. Don't put any pressure on
Don't put your pressure on yourselves. And that's what we did too much. So thankfully, we really used our community to help us. And I would encourage
everybody to do that.
Athletes to do that as well if you're going to end up doing the games, because we were struggling so much to just finish that one day. I think after camp, we had some members just hanging around, and we said, hey, do you mind watching us?
You guys stay.
Can you watch us work out?
Make us finish. Make us finish the event.
Yeah. And it made us finish. I mean, they could tell, I think there was like a point where it gets really hard, and they could tell we were starting to be like, we don't want to do it. And they were like, you have to keep going. And it made us go. After that, it was good. So we were working hard. So the competition comes, regionals comes again, August 2021.
2021. That's right.
And I mean,
we liked the workouts.
We liked the workouts a lot. They were going well in practice.
That's right.
And that year, I mean, honestly, they went pretty well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, workout 1 and 2 went well for us. Workout 3 for me, again, I feel like I have trouble getting my head. And those dang doubles got to me again. And I would tend to do pretty well in practice.
And that ground to overhead at the very end.
Ground to overhead. I think
you failed out.
I completely failed out, which I had never done in practice and in training. And then for the actual workout, I mean, you can see me like, and I cannot even straighten my arm out.
That's right.
And I was disappointed because they weren't my best times, but I still felt proud about showing up and completing it. I just wasn't quite sure if it was good enough.
Right.
You crushed it. You did really great that year. And so afterward, we took a little trip to Boston.
Yeah, we did.
Right?
We took a little trip to Boston.
Because we worked so hard, and we were like, all right, we're going to reward ourselves with a little girls trip.
That's right.
And we did. And that's when the announcement came out about who's making it on. And I was so hopeful. I was like crossing my fingers. I was like, oh, please. And I knew Devin made the announcement, and he was going down 16, 15, 14. I was like, all right, if I made it, I'm like at the bottom, but maybe I can slide in. And he started naming the names, and I was like, oh no. And I knew I hadn't made it, but what it was awesome about it was bittersweet, because I didn't make it, but you got that number 1 spot that you had been working so hard for. So,
but it was also so sad.
We were sad and happy at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, I was super disappointed, but really proud of you, especially with how hard you had worked that year. So then you move on to finals. And
the workouts are harder.
They were
harder
hard,
every year. Focusing on, I mean, again, more strength, Metcon, again, training for it. And then, so my goal is to make it to the top 2 and to eventually win. So then I have to train for the final workout, which there's toes to bar in this. And then I'm like, I don't know how to do toes to bar efficiently.
Right.
Like, I can do them strict, but I can't do them efficiently. And if I want to do well, I need to learn. So Leslie was like, all right, so let's go. Because she has a friend who the CrossFit trainer, and we go over to his gym, and then he teaches me. I rip my hands up completely. This is like 2 weeks
they were like
before,
bleeding
completely. This is like 2 weeks before the competition. Every single event for finals, I have my hands taped and wrapped. But it helped out because that was a good final event.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
You won. You reached your goal.
Reached my goal. That's right.
You won. You worked so hard that year. So
that was a good feeling.
You reached your goal. So that was 2021.
2021. And then going into 2022.
All right, 2022. I was like, I'm gonna make it.
You're gonna make it.
I'm gonna do this. So again, I think I just knew I could. And so for me, it was
you
just
had
like
been training super hard already.
On
off
so
season,
hard.
your off season was, I
was just a mental case.
Yeah.
I get in my head, and that's the thing. I needed to learn how to not get in my head and push myself through because I knew I was capable.
Yeah.
I knew I was capable.
And then again, workouts come out. We like the workouts.
Yeah. Workouts are hard.
I wouldn't say we like the workouts. The first one,
there was one I really loved to hate.
Awful.
I loved to hate that one. I hated that one.
Yeah.
Matt Morris did not like it. Although it was brilliant. It was a great workout. So what was it? 90 seconds?
9 minutes of filthy. 90 seconds. That's right.
90 seconds, six exercises.
Max reps. Of each
for 90 seconds. And talk about mental, like you have no idea what's good. Like
that's right.
how many to do in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So gosh, that got in my head. But
it went well.
It went
really well. So
we dug deep.
So
so
regionals went great.
And that was when Masters was first introduced.
Yes, that's when Masters has first introduced.
So you called me and you said, hey, guess what? There's a Masters division this year. And I was like, what? And so I was really excited because I know you don't know this, but I'm in my 40s. Just kidding. No, but I was excited because I was like, all right, that would be cool to represent the 40 and up group.
But still be competitive with the standard division, which you always have been.
Yeah. I think I wanted to.
And you wanted to like compare yourself.
I wanted to compare myself because I love being pushed by everybody.
Right.
Like, that's why I enjoy training with you because you really push me. And so I wanted to be pushed by not only the athletes in my age group, but also the other athletes as well. So I was like, all right, let's go. I'm going to do it this year.
Yep.
Let's get after it. And we kind of thought, all right, your goal was to try to win again.
Yep.
And I wanted to make the top 16. And so we were like, all right, let's try to see if I make the top 16. Maybe that would be really cool if we could win the whole thing together. So I was like, all right, Gabs, I'm going for it. I'm going to try really hard.
1-1.
So the events went really well. They were so hard though. They were so hard.
Yeah.
But they went really well. And it came out that we both made it.
Through. Number one. We both
made it through number one. So
right there.
That was really exciting.
That was really cool. And then moving on into finals of last year, 2022, workouts came out. We trained like crazy for them, like as much as we could because we had 3 weeks to train for them?
Yeah.
Less?
Yeah.
They came out so quickly.
Yeah.
And
that was a whole new experience because I'd never been on that side of it.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, you got to practice like 6 workouts in, a month and a half or 2 months.
Well, you've never really done competitions before, right?
Yeah, I
growing
tell
up,
you guys this.
Right?
So I am new to competition.
Yeah.
Where you were a collegiate athlete, you've always been a competitor. That was completely new to me, and I think that's why I struggled so much, like mentally pushing myself.
Mentally, is the hardest.
I was always a cheerleader growing up, so I feel comfortable cheering for you and cheering you on and coaching you. But the nerves would get to me, and so I was so excited because my goal all along had just been, I just want to make it to finals, compete on that floating floor. So I had the opportunity to, but it is crazy in there when you get up on that floor and compete. It's loud.
The adrenaline, your adrenaline is like through the roof.
The adrenaline's through the roof. Crazy. For some people that
helps them, motivates them.
For me, of course, it drains me. I'm like, I'm so tired. We haven't even done anything yet. And that first workout, it went well, but oh my gosh,
You got so tired.
I got so tired. I was surprised at how exhausted I was after it was done because I think it was just the adrenaline, just pushing. And so I was like, how am I going to do the second event?
But the second event was her jam. She crushed it.
I was excited about this.
20 chin-ups in a row?
Yeah, 20 chin-ups.
20 chin-ups in a row. She made it look so easy. She finished in less than 15 seconds.
Well, I was very worried I was going to fail out because
I did.
Well,
because I went before you.
yeah, you did go
I
before
filled
me.
out on my chin.
Yes, and we did not. We did not think that was going to happen.
We did not train for that because every time we practiced, we got all 20 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So
lesson learned.
I failed out at number 17, and I panicked because I was like, I haven't done the ground overhead presses. I haven't trained like that. I haven't practiced it.
I know.
So then here I am. I don't want to waste any time on the bar trying to fight for that rep. So then I hop off, do my 20 grounded overheads, get back on the bar, and I'm like, man, this is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 3 more reps left, but it was hard.
Yeah, you had to fight for him.
Yeah.
But you still did fantastic.
Yeah.
You did a great job. But it was a lesson learned to both of us that you have to
practice
prepare
for everything
for
that can
any
happen.
scenario.
Any scenario, that's right.
And try not to panic because when things don't go as planned, you got to keep going.
That's right. And don't get down on yourself when it doesn't go as planned.
But I was nervous going into it because I thought, well, I didn't practice for this either.
Yeah.
And I could tell I was already very drained.
Yeah.
I was worried about getting on that bar, and I remember taking a deep breath in, and I just knew that this was kind of, it's tended to be a pattern for me sometimes that I would just get in my head and start saying, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And I was like, no, this is your event. Come on, you can pull through. And I remember taking a deep breath, blocking everything out. And I did not look at a single person and just took it 1 rep at a time. So I would recommend doing it. Try not to get too ahead of yourself. So that I was really excited about that.
But you crushed that event.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I was really excited about that.
Then we moved on to Bucked Up, which was probably the worst event of the competition last year.
And you dominated that
all.
one. You did so great. I was really proud of you.
I don't know how, but
I knew you would.
It was hard. It was very difficult. It was all legs.
Well, I'll tell you, I think one good way that you did so well is you're very good at pacing yourself through those events. So I think all of us feel like we got to go as hard as we can. And
don't go all out
out
the gate.
And you did. Yeah. You really just took it 1 rep at a time, made yourself keep moving. And I think that paid off for you in the end.
I hated it, but I loved that event.
Right.
So
it was good. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then moving on to day two.
What was our first event? Was Keeping It 100.
Keeping It
We both
100.
did well on that. That was a fun event.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I did
like
that
a lot.
jump rope.
Yeah.
Med ball jump lunges.
That's right. And then clean and presses.
Clean press, yeah.
And then the second event of that day was the med ball me to death.
Yeah.
That was fun
the
too.
Sprints, slams, and then that final event.
Final event, Uncle.
Uncle.
That was rough. That was
hard.
That was very, very difficult.
I think you're just tired from the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to you and
just
the other person.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think we were both very, very nervous.
Yeah.
But it worked out. We both
reached our goal.
And I think we realized how special that was because it was honestly the 1 year that could ever happen.
The 1 year that could ever happen. That's right.
We were really excited about that. And it just felt incredible.
It felt amazing.
Because, over those 4 years, 3 years, we just had that goal that we wanted to reach. And some years we were reaching it. I mean, some years I was not reaching it, but I was reaching many goals along the way.
Right.
And over the course of those 3 years, finally met the goal that I wanted to achieve and surpassed it, which I never thought possible. So really important to set goals along the way.
And if you don't reach them right away, that's okay.
That's okay because I was getting stronger and faster. And the same thing for you. Like we were learning things every year
as we were going along,
and we were progressing as athletes. And so that was really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's all worth it.
So that was kind of our history.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
All right. So let's talk about some of the unique, maybe unconventional techniques that we've used to train over time. So what do we do in the off season?
So the off season, we try to focus a lot on strength training, heavy strength training, barbell strength training.
Trying to get a little bit stronger.
Yeah, definitely. Especially on legs.
Yes,
right?
because
you need your legs for everything.
Yeah, and most events are pretty leg heavy.
And that, for sure. And that helps with your muscular endurance as well for each event.
Yeah,
so you can
it's definitely something we've learned over time. So it's helped us.
Yeah, that's right. You can go longer and then move the weight faster. So that definitely helps a lot.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of
that. And then as we get closer to burn athlete, we back off some of the heavier strength training we focus on more
metabolic
work.
conditioning.
Yeah, Metcon workout. So
That's right.
yeah, that's one thing. And then another thing that we do when we're getting close to the actual
games.
We usually have a mock day, and we pretend like it is the day of the competition, and we do the events one after the other, but we give ourselves a good bit of rest.
Usually amount of rest after we get at the competition.
Yeah,
right.
And we really watch each other. So just to kind of help study the way we're all moving.
She'll usually go first, or I'll go first, and then we'll always watch each other and be like.
And I like to make notes and kind of
be
say,
like, hey, maybe try this instead of this. Maybe be more efficient here. And that helps a lot.
That helps a whole
we
lot.
Watch each other.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely that's part of our training, because I mean, a lot of it can be technical. I would say if you're training for the games, one thing you want to do is after you feel out the workout, kind of just be honest about what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And whatever that weakness is, that's what you really got to focus and work on. Which honestly, I mean, that seems obvious, but really study it, because it can be due to many different factors. I mean, why is it that this is hard for you? Is it technique related? Is it form related? Is it mobility related? Is it mental? Are you just telling yourself you can't?
Right.
And you can. So kind of take a step back and really look at, why is this hard? Like, what is it? And if it's form or technique related, kind of develop a little training program just around getting better at that specific exercise or that specific movement. We'd also recommend don't do the events over and over and over again. It gets boring. It doesn't really help you, honestly.
No.
I mean, just to do the same thing over and over and over again. So we like to try to make workouts that involve some of the exercises.
Come up with different formats.
But we pull a lot of other exercises in it that just help build our endurance.
Yeah. And like sometimes we also like maybe go a week or two without doing any of the workouts or any of the exercises themselves, and just
completely take a break up from it.
Keeping our conditioning high and still being able to move the weight with any other.
It's a good break from it too.
It is
sometimes
a good break.
I mean, like I said, we can get in our heads about doing these workouts. So try not to do that too much. Just focus on moving.
Right.
Continuing to move and training hard. What about the sacrifices that go into training? Let's talk about some of that, right?
Man, there's a ton, right?
Yeah.
Whoever's training for this, you guys know it's hard to find time, right?
Yeah.
Because you're either full-time training, right? Or you have a family, you have kids. You're working at home too.
Yeah.
You're doing so much.
It's definitely a sacrifice.
It's a balance for sure. You got to be willing to give up certain things and have that time to train.
Yeah. You have to decide if you're going to make the time for it or not. If you want to do well.
If you want to, right.
If you really are trying to get to that larger goal. And again, everybody's goal can be different. It doesn't have to be to win the whole thing or to go to top 16. But
just to do it
regardless,
that's
if you should set a goal for yourself, that's going to help you motivate you to get there, to help reach that goal. But I think it's just so hard because burn athlete just makes you push to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a sacrifice. I mean, you have to decide, well, am I going to wake up early and get another workout in, or do I want to sleep?
Right.
Like how important is it for you to reach that goal? And you have to put in the work. And like Gab said, I mean, it's hard because none of us are full-time athletes, right? Like we are, some of us are full-time trainers. Like we're training at many, many camps during the week, and it's exhausting. It's hard.
It's really hard on your body.
It's what we love.
Yeah.
That's exhausting afterward. And then, we have other things going on at home, like family. And some of us have full-time jobs. And, some of us are full-time jobs and training.
That's right.
And you got to make time for that training outside of it. So you really have to decide, am I going to put on the work? And then when I show up to train, am I going to push myself to that point to where I get uncomfortable? Because you really can't go through the motions. You got to push yourself to another level. And to really push yourself to what you're capable of. So use your community. That has helped us so much. Use your training team.
Yeah.
Use your members.
Yeah. Every year.
Family, friends to help you in any way. Definitely. And that has really helped.
They've been super beneficial and super awesome. The past years.
They really have.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else? Motivation. What does that look like? I feel like people always ask us, how do you get motivated?
A lot of times I just make myself do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great
know.
answer because I laugh. I'm like, I'm not motivated. I'm tired,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time I'm not. I mean, some days I am motivated to work out, but other days I am tired.
It actually,
Lazy Lester comes out and I do not want to work out. I don't.
when you make yourself do it, it just feels good. It might feel awful during it.
Yeah.
But then after it, you just feel so accomplished.
Right.
I know I do.
Yeah, you do. Well, I think what it comes down to is discipline.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to be disciplined
to
show up and to continue to work towards that goal.
That's right.
So whatever it is, I mean, for some people, like I said, it doesn't matter what your goal is. If you're signing up for a burn athlete, like some of us, thinking back to your first year, you didn't have your doubles and they're just like, gosh, I just want to pass this strength and conditioning test. These doubles are getting in my way. Well, now's the time to work on them.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
There's a deadline now, right? And so it kind of, puts that fire underneath you to be like, all right, I can't put it off any longer because we always say, oh, I want to get better at that.
Right.
But then what are you doing to get better? So I think that's when we have to be disciplined to say, I'm actually going to put aside time. I'm going to reach out to another trainer or somebody else on my team that's really good at doubles and have them help me work on him. Yeah. So pair up with somebody that's really strong where you have weakness and they can help you and connect with other people in Burn Nation. I think that's been one of my favorite parts of Burn Athlete is making the relationships.
It's really awesome. Yeah. You get to meet everybody. And I mean, the weekend of finals is just so fun to see everybody and reconnect with everybody. Having that day before on Friday usually where you can just hang out. So
it really brings
the connections are awesome.
All of Burn Nation together. And it's been so cool. And even if you don't make it to finals, I've made such great relationships with other trainers throughout the country that I hadn't met before. But we will message each other on Instagram and be like, hey, I saw that you did this event. Like, how was that for you? Or I remember when we first connected with Joanna.
That's right.
One of the trainers in New Jersey who is just awesome. And she is such a hard worker. And we started messaging back and forth about the workouts. And she just really inspired me with her work ethic. And that was just a cool connection. And then I remember one day she came down to Charlotte for Burn U. And we just happened to be at Lake Finally for noon. And we started talking, and I was like, Joanna, we hadn't even met before. Like, this is our first face-to-face. It was just cool how Burn Athlete had brought us together. So even if you're on a team where you don't have somebody to train with, maybe you're kind of a burn that doesn't have other burns nearby or nobody else in your team is competing, like, don't be afraid to reach out to other trainers, through social media and connect and push each other that way because it's really
hold each other accountable.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And the way I've connected with members, outside of our own Elizabeth community has been really cool.
It's been awesome.
So it's such an awesome experience, so rewarding, I guess. So
definitely.
I would say if you're on the fence, Burn trainers, if you're on the fence about signing up for Burn Athlete, just do it because it's
you won't regret it.
You won't regret it. No one has ever regretted it. And I'm going to say, be honest, it's really hard.
It is.
It's hard. It's going to push you to another level.
But having that challenge is something that's good.
Yeah,
as well.
It's been so awesome. And we've learned so much about ourselves over the years. And it has never gone the way I thought it would. Yeah. It did not go the way I thought it would in 2020. Didn't go the way I thought it would in 2021. And that was more in a disappointing way. And it didn't go the way I thought it would in 2022 in the best way. And I've learned something about myself every single year.
That's right.
And just the relationships made. And it's just been awesome. So
definitely sign up.
Definitely sign up. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and listening to all things Burn Athlete.
That's right. Don't forget to subscribe, like us, rate us. And let's finish off with 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.